Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. And Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, Long Island's largest rock salt provider. And that's just not rock salt, folks. It's Mag Ice Melting Pellets and Flakes, Petalo Premium Snow and Ice Melter, Biomelt, Geomelt. They've got spreaders, shovels, snow blowers, and much more. And this is all great because the winter season is coming, so you want to be prepared. They are ready. So are you ready? 1226 North Wellwood Avenue, West Babylon, New York, 631-756-1125, or go to the website, omnitruevalue.com, for more information. So we're going to focus our attention now on the weather going forward over the next 48 hours because we have Hurricane Zeta, which is strengthening rather impressively this morning anyway. It will probably level off at some point, but the hurricane will make landfall in southeast Louisiana late this afternoon and then accelerate to the northeast and will bring us a round of rain beginning tomorrow, Thursday morning, and lasting into the very first part of Thursday night. So I think we can manage to get out of that first round of rain that's going to be coming through on the order of, let's just say an inch to maybe 2 inches, inch to 2 inches from north to south. The amounts up to the north will be a little bit less, and amounts across central and southern New Jersey down into Maryland and Virginia will be a bit more. Same for south central and southeastern Pennsylvania. Then there's going to be a second round of rain that will come late Thursday night and continue into the first part of Friday. So when it's all said and done, I think a large portion of the area from eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England is going to wind up with 2 to 3 inches of rain. Now, there's been the issue of whether there might be a changeover to wet snow, and I think we'll see it primarily, at least some mixing, if not a full changeover to wet snow from Route 84 northward. So you start to get up into the Catskills, Sullivan County, northeastern PA. You'll probably see some snow there. Notice all back to across much of central New York State. And then you get also snow up in parts of New England. But we're not talking about anything major here, a coating to a couple of inches. Maybe some of the higher elevations get a bit more. It's possible because of cold air draining southward that we could even see a few snowflakes mixing in down close to the coast, but I don't expect to have any problems out of this. Everything seems to be going according to plan, and there really hasn't been too much change in terms of the logic regarding the forecast for the next 48 hours. The other issue for tomorrow and Friday will be the possibility of flash flooding, and you can see that the Weather Prediction Center is showing a rather large area of slight risk for flash flooding from southeast Louisiana up through the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, extending through the Central Appalachians, and then just reaching across much of central and south Jersey. There's a marginal risk that extends up into northern Connecticut, Rhode Island, and southeastern New England, and also for the Hudson Valley and the most of the northern part of Pennsylvania involved in that, and northern New Jersey. But we're going to work our way through all this, and hopefully we'll get the rains we get without causing too much of a problem. Here's the Hurricane Center's forecast for Hurricane Zeta. Top winds are 85 miles an hour, maximum sustained winds, and it's at 25.1, 91.8, moving north-northwest at 17. So it's starting to move a little faster. And again, that landfall comes late this afternoon. You see where the warnings are up, and tropical storm warnings extend east of the Florida Panhandle. The track takes it northeastward very quickly. By tomorrow afternoon, it's in central Virginia. By first thing Friday morning, 1 a.m., it's out well east of 70 West. So that track puts us in line for some heavy rains and for some gusty winds too. The core of this is going to hold together somewhat because it is going to get a bit of an influence from what's going on aloft. And the weather prediction, folks, by the way, band of 2 to 4 inch rains, fairly common. And on the wider view, these are the 7-day rainfall amounts. All of this is pretty much front end loaded with what's happening for Thursday and Friday. So the heavy rains, you see that trail that runs down to southeast Louisiana into the Gulf of Mexico, that is pretty much the track of this. So the heaviest rain winds up falling. Well, that's a little bit too far south, but the heaviest rain winds up falling just north and to the north of where the low track is. So we're pretty much in line. Most of the area is pretty much in line for this rainfall that's coming. Take a look on the satellite. The eye is getting pretty well defined here as it moves northward. Circulation is pretty impressive. Now, the northern Gulf water temperatures are cooler, so when the center approaches the coast, I think the strengthening will level off. It might even weaken a bit, but I still think it comes ashore as a hurricane. And there is a reconnaissance aircraft in there right now, where they on their first pass they did find winds of 64 to 83 knots. So they'll be there checking it, continuing to check this as they come around and see if they find winds even stronger, because that eye is really a standout there. And as far as the precip that we have around for the from overnight and this morning, that is moving quickly to the east and will get out of the way. And you're starting to see that rain setting up down to the south. So let's run you through the forecast very quickly on how this all plays out. And we're going to see weather conditions, just leftover clouds this afternoon, maybe some brightening of skies or a break or two of sun, but you can also see the expanding area of rain that is occurring throughout the lower Ohio and Tennessee Valley, Zeta into central Alabama by 1 a.m. Thursday, pretty much pushing up to the northeast. There's your rain. By daybreak tomorrow, it's raining everywhere, and some heavier rains down in South Jersey, southern Pennsylvania, back into Maryland. The low goes into eastern Virginia. Those heavy rains continue. They spread up into central New England, up to southern Maine. That first low goes out. We get a second low that develops because of this upper trough that passes off the Virginia coast. It's a little bit further to the south. So this run of the GFS shows very little cold air getting involved in the north. I'm not really ready to believe that. The models seem to be doing this thing where every other run is warmer, colder, warmer, colder. So I think the forecast outlook that we've given is a pretty fair assessment of what's going to be happening. And then as that low goes out, it turns colder, and we get into what should be a dry weekend. We do have another cold front that's coming through on Sunday evening with maybe a shower or two, and behind it, it's going to be on the windy side Monday into Monday night and Tuesday with some rather cold air coming down from Canada. So a lot of changes underway as things are moving right along as far as the atmosphere is concerned. And with regards to temperatures today, we're going to be pretty much in the upper 50s and lower 60s for highs. For tomorrow, I think we settle in the 50s all day long, and even some 40s start to show up further to the north. You can see up into the Hudson Valley, temperatures into the 40s and even some upper 30s in some elevated areas as that colder air starts to come in. And then on Friday, we'll be, I think, pretty much in the 40s, except and maybe only low and middle 40s near the coast, and in the 30s as you head up north, because that's where that cold air takes hold. Saturday morning is going to be a chilly morning everywhere, and many areas that haven't experienced their first freezes of the season, I think you're going to see them on Saturday morning with just about everybody, including the big cities, getting down to 32, and a lot of 20s just north and west of the coast, and even teens in parts of upstate New York. So this is a fairly cold shot of air. We'll see temperatures climb back up Saturday into the 40s, and then on Sunday we'll be back up into the 50s with some sunshine. I think we'll have sunshine on Saturday and sunshine and arriving clouds on Sunday. So that wraps it up for Weather in 5. And once again, just a quick mention here to our sponsors. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware Stores, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue, West Babylon, New York, 631-756-1125. Or the website omnitruevalue.com for more information. They've got everything you need for preparing for winter weather. They are Long Island's largest provider of rock salt, and they not only serve Long Island, but the tri-state area. 631-756-1125. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, last night we had on the Joe and Joe Weather Show We had meteorologist Jim Witt, who has been on WHUD radio in the Hudson Valley for over 50 years. And he was wonderful. You can find the interview on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Joe Cioffi. It's also on the meteorologist Joe Cioffi weather app. If you go to videos, you'll see it there. And you can also listen to the podcast of the Joe and Joe Weather Show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Just search for Joe and Joe Weather Show on your podcast site, and it should be there because it's on those and on a whole host of other podcast websites. So we'll see you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Have a great day. Take care and stay safe.